Here's another early recipe for distinguished patrons only. I'm planning on doing a full video on this, as with a lot of these videos, and it's shaping up to be a really long one, so it's going to be exciting, but it's going to be a little while before it's out. However, I'm really excited about this drink and wanted to share it. So today, you're getting a sneak peek. This is an original drink called the Bikini Bombshell. This drink was inspired by the Bikini Islands. I heard a story about them, and, it really got the wheels turning. That story sort of, fires on all cylinders for the distinguished video checklist. It's unpacking a cultural phenomenon. It has the origins of a pop culture icon, and it digs into the obscure history of something that was a mid-century obsession. The Atomic Age! I don't really even want to go into too much detail on it. The story's great, and I think you're going to really like it. And it might be as long and winding as the Voodoo Grog story. So, just like the Voodoo Grog, here in the Cliff Notes won't be quite as good as sort of waiting for the real thing with the newsreel footage and all that, as opposed to me kind of half-assing it here. So stay tuned for that. With the Bikini story as the inspiration, the drink itself was modeled after the zombie, with its grapefruit, cinnamon, and combination of both Jamaican and Demerara rums. It really kind of takes from that template, but it kind of comes into its own with the Orgeat and, most importantly, the smoky Scotch. The drink also probably owes a debt to the penicillin. It's not that it was a conscious decision, but this drink is a sour with exotic sweeteners and a touch of smoke. The earliest origin of the drink's flavors came from me messing around with Don's mix. I was trying to come up with a way to use your pre-made mix if you got bored of the zombies. And my simple yet tasty solution was 2 parts of a lightly peated Scotch to 1 part Don's mix. And it kind of worked like a charm. I really like that combination. But this version, which is bigger, more intense, and it's kind of the mutated version of those flavors, and grew into something complex, really tasty, and super exotic. I shot a video for this one, but for a couple of reasons I wanted to reshoot it. However, I didn't want the footage to go completely to waste, because I thought it turned out really well, with the garnish, the look, the aesthetic, and in particular in this killer mug. But I wanted to reshoot it after I discovered this excellent Orgeat technique from Trash Tiki, where you make Orgeat not from almonds, but rather from avocado bits. It's something that I read about a while ago, but it took me a bit to get around to making it, and then I made a second batch after some modifications of the recipe, but I really liked it, and I wanted to incorporate that into this drink. Plus, one of the other reasons I wanted to reshoot it was that the folks at Tikis, they smashed the mold on this mug. So I wanted to use a mug that was still in existence. Also, this mug, the sort of upside-down skull, is really big. When you made the drink, in order to fill up the mug, you had to make it for 2. With the new mug, it can be made as a single serve. There'll be more about the new mug in the full video, but I'll put a link to the mug in the description below. If you don't have a mug, serve it in a big glass, like a brandy snifter or something like that. Okay, so to make this one, you'll need cinnamon syrup, preferably homemade. There's a link here and in the description below on how to make it at home. I can't get enough of this in tiki drinks at the moment. I added it to my twist on the painkiller. It's in this one, and it'll be used in a forthcoming drink that's Play on the Jungle Bird. So stay tuned for that. All right, next up is the citrus. This one uses Don Beach's favorite, white grapefruit. As with other tiki drinks like the zombie or navy grog, this drink is designed for white grapefruit, in particular Oro Blanco, but you can get away with pink grapefruit if you want. I've tested it with both sort of back-to-back, and it still works. As I know, white grapefruit is hard for people to find. My usual suggestion is to try farmers markets. Obviously, living in Southern California, I'm spoiled in the fact that we mostly have access to it year-round, but I've only maybe once or twice found it in a grocery store. but I always seem to find him in farmers markets. What I like about it in this drink is that you only need one citrus. And with the other sort of, extremely bold flavors in the drink, the grapefruit isn't too tart or overpowering the way it might be in other recipes. Okay, so the other sweetener is Orgeat. You're really going to want to opt for the homemade stuff here. In the full-blown video, I'm going to use this wild homemade avocado pit Orgeat. I plan to do a recipe video on that, but if you want to get the jump on it, check out the written recipe in the description below. In this version of the video, I use l'Orgeat. If you can find it, it'll work really well in this drink. But in order of preference, I think your first choice should be the homemade stuff. The second choice would be l'Orgeat. Third, BG Reynolds. And fourth, Orgeat Works, the Latitude 29 version. And the secret weapon in this drink is the smoky scotch. The scotch needs to really have an intense amount of smoke to work in this one. So, lightly peated drams, those won't do. This drink was designed with the peat monster in mind, but you can use a different Islay Scotch if that's what you have on hand. If you didn't know the recipe, the scotch would make it really hard to pinpoint what's in the drink. I suspect that this ingredient may seem challenging for some tiki drinkers, but even if smoky scotch isn't your thing, I think the scotch in this drink will really work for you. But if you're sort of nervous about committing to a whole bottle, just get a little travel size bottle and try it out that way. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, now for the rums. This drink works best with a couple things. One, a combination of Jamaican and Demerara rums. Two, using really high proof rum. Recently, I've been making it with 100 proof Dr. Bird and 151 Hamilton Demerara. Dr. Bird is a Jamaican rum from Worthy Park, so it has that really excellent high ester, ripe banana, and tropical fruit notes. And the 151, of course, is the extremely intense and sort of woody, dark and burnt, heavy rum flavor. I was originally making it with the homemade, barrel-aged, overproof Wray & Nephew, the one that was designed to sort of simulate the Mai Tai rum. The reason for that is I was kind of going for this really intense, overproof drink. But as tasty as that rum is, I like the character of the fruitier Worthy Park rum a little better in this drink because it offers a better sort of counterbalance to that really harsh punch in the teeth that the 151 is. And that balance, I guess, come to think of it, is another reason to revise the video. But anyway, the Dr. Bird version is a little higher proof than the Hamilton Jamaican Rum, even though they kind of hail from the same distillery. If you can't find the 151 Demerara, you can sub in a heavier pour of an 80 proof Demerara, or you can try OFTD. I made the drink using only OFTD, and it didn't quite work. That rum by itself kind of overtook the drink, and the flavor wasn't as balanced as you want it to be. So if you're using OFTD, just use an ounce of it and make up the other ounce with the Jamaican rum. I also made it using only the Hamilton Navy Rum, which is a blend of overproof Jamaican rum and Demerara rum. And that version is also excellent. In fact, it's damn near perfect. I mean, I like the Dr. Bird and 151 combo a lot, but I was thinking about simplifying the drink for the full video by using the Hamilton Navy Rum instead. But we'll see. It is fun to sort of combine those rums going into it. Okay, as for the garnish, you're going to want to use some fire in this one. And that calls for a little hunk of bread and lemon oil extract. Lemon oil is a food-safe, high-proof, flammable liquid that is the perfect fuel for tiki drinks. You get this huge, bright flame that burns for a long time. I think most people, when they think of adding a little flame to their tiki drinks, tend to reach for the 151 and light that on fire. And while it will burn, it's going to be a low sort of blue flame. and not that huge yellow one that you get from the lemon oil extract. Plus, rum is for drinking, not for burning. The flaming garnish fits with the atomic theme of the drink, and it obviously creates a wonderful spectacle that's just sort of ties the whole room together. So to sort of build this thing, I like using the husk of the grapefruit I juiced for this drink. I'll pop in some cloves around the edge, and then put that in front of just a fan of pineapple fronds. Then you light that sucker up, and you're ready to go. When you're going to serve it, what's fun to do is sprinkle some cinnamon over the top. That'll create a fiery flourish, as well as gives it that great aroma of toasted cinnamon. All right, let's make this thing. Just keep in mind that what was filmed was measuring for a recipe that was double the size. What you're going to make at home is going to be a single serving. All right, so let's measure an ounce or 30 mils of Jamaican rum. Then we'll do an ounce or 30 mils of 151, and an ounce or 30 mils of grapefruit juice. Then 3/4 ounce or 22 mils of orgeat, and a 1/4 ounce or 7 mils of cinnamon syrup. And finally, 1/2 ounce or 15 mils of Islay Scotch. That's a smoky scotch. Then add a little crushed ice and whip it. That just means shake it with a little bit of crushed ice. That way it just, agitates and integrates all the ingredients and dilutes it a little bit. But most of the dilution will be done with the crushed ice in the mug. Then we'll pour it unstrained over the crushed ice in your mug, or brandy snifter if you don't have a mug. Then work in your garnish, set it on fire, sprinkle some of that cinnamon on the top, and enjoy. I really like this drink and am pretty proud of it. It's intense, it's flavorful, and it's not shy with the booze, like every good tiki drink should be, in my opinion. But give this one a try. Let me know what you think of it. Hopefully you like it as much as I do. And, if you pop down in the description, I'll have all those links and written recipes and, different measurements and whatever for your different rum combinations. Feel free to drop me a comment or a question or whatever you have on this one. And as usual, feel free to post or talk about this drink as much as you want. But please don't share the link to this video. We're going to try to keep this, as always, members only. All right, well, thanks again for supporting the channel. It is definitely appreciated. And until next time, Akole Maluna.